Don't stop.
Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything in a Bit Gay podcast. And this is the Gay Bit. This is my weekly bit where I bring you, because my podcast wasn't gay enough for you throughout the week, I'm going to make sure it's super gay today. And today we're going to be talking about a type of friend that I think all of us have probably experienced in our circle of friends at one point or another. And that friend is the person that knows it all. Not just knows it all, but knows everyone. Knows everything about every restaurant, knows everything about every store, boutique, knows everyone in the entire East Coast. That is the type of person I'm talking about. And this is a friend of mine. And I'll just have a disclaimer that I'll put out there that I actually like this person. I like this person a lot. They're fun. They like to have a good time. They are a good friend most of the time, but they always feel like they have to make up these fabricated stories to impress people. And it's not just with me, because I believe they do this with their other groups of friends. There's like these huge exaggerations. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's say we're making reservations as a group and we're going to go out to this restaurant. Before I can even say the name of the restaurant, he's like, I know the owner. Oh, okay, but you don't. It's like I didn't even tell you the name yet. I'm sure I know the owner and I can get us in. Okay. Or here's another example. I found this cute store in Boston that sells men's clothing, and I was telling him about it. Oh, yes, I went to the opening. I went to the opening of that. I'm like, I didn't say it just opened. It's. I think it's been open for a while, and he goes, yes, but I went to the opening when it happened, and I can go in there anytime I want to get clothing. Yeah, well, I think anybody can, as long as the store's open. I think anybody can go into there wasn't like it wasn't appointment only, but they need to feel this. They need to feel important about things. They need to feel like that they are the only ones. They're one step away from telling me that they don't fly commercial anymore and they only fly private, and they do not have money to fly private. I wish they did, because I would love to fly private. And I actually never have flown private, and I would love to. So I wish I had a friend that could fly private. But this person is, again, he's a really nice person. He just goes above and beyond to make himself at a different level than he really is. And, I've seen this happen at my corporate jobs before. So anytime I would get a promotion at work, I would always make sure that I would never let it go to my head. I would just make sure that people weren't like, oh God, who does Zach think he is? Because I've seen people get just like a director promotion, and the next day they walk into the office as if they're walking through with a clipboard and a megaphone, basically running the whole fucking company, as if they got promoted to the senior vice president, not just of our department, but of the entire company. And all of a sudden become right about everything, and just those type of people that let a promotion go to their head. And it happens to a lot of people. And I don't think people know that they're doing it. But I remember one time whenever somebody that I worked with got a promotion and told me, I'm not going to let this go to my head. And I said, well, what do you mean? And they gave me examples, and they said, so-and-so also in our department got promoted, and watch how they look. And I remember watching the two of them, one who took the promotion and just was very cool about it, and was just accepting that, okay, I got this and I'm great, but I don't need to be applauded every time I walk into the room. And the other person is the person that had the clipboard and a megaphone walking through the office, basically saying, look at me, I've been promoted, and you peasants work for me now. So those are just different types of people. And I have always made sure anytime I've been recognized at work or I've got a promotion, I never, ever have let it go to my head. I never would. And I know it's hard, but the way that I look at my previous corporate jobs is I had some real shit managers, really bad managers. And what I did is, through my career, I took a look at those managers, and whatever they did, those bad managers, are the things that I made sure I didn't do. I did the opposite. And this started very early in my career. This is one of my, not my first major corporate, I was working at a big finance institution, and I just like, I had the worst manager who was constantly drinking, would come into drunk at work, was an asshole to so many people. And I like just took so many notes about how he made people feel. And I made sure that I was never going to be that way. And I think he is the reason why I have been a decent manager most of my career. So, all that being said, let's get back to my friend. So, my friend also likes to talk about his gym activities. And he goes to the gym 6 or 7 days a week, but he constantly is talking about how every guy that constantly is cruising him and likes him in the gym. Again, he's a nice looking guy, but I don't think every single guy, including the straight guys that he says, are looking at you. He thinks that everybody is looking at him. And there's just an insecurity there. And I'm just like, why do you feel this way? Like, I don't understand. But here's the thing that really got me. He said, I went out and I got carded. And I said, oh, for AARP? No, I got carded for alcohol. I'm like, that is just a rule that they have. Some places do that. Even before you go into some bars, like you could look 79 years old and they're going to card you. But he thinks because this one time he got carded for alcohol, that people think he looks like he's under 21. I'm like, girl, no. You are in your 50s and you look like you're in your 50s. So don't try it. Don't let this one person that asked you for your ID make you think that you look like you're under 21, because you do not. Ooh, I could go on to that all day long, but I'm going to let that one go. Listen, at the end of the day, again, I really care about this person. I like them. And the more I talk about this, the more I feel like I do need, because my whole group of friends, we're all talking about it. So I do feel like maybe I should maybe say something to him about, you don't need to say all this stuff to impress us. You don't need to say this stuff for us to be your friend, because we're already your friend. We've been your friend for years. But we don't need you to continue making up these stories, because we know a lot of them aren't true. Because this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to him and say, hey, there's this new restaurant in Boston. And I was going to make up the name of a restaurant. I was going to call it Roseland Bakery. And it's a French restaurant and they have the best food. And I want him to tell me, oh my God, I've been there. I went to the opening. I know the chef. Because then I would say, well, the chef doesn't exist for that because the restaurant doesn't exist. I was just making that up. Again, I don't want to necessarily end my friendship with him. I just want him to like feel comfortable around me and my group of friends, where he doesn't have to like feel like he has to exaggerate all these things. But he does that. And it's not just with our group of friends, I'm pretty sure. I think he is doing this with everybody in his life. I think he's doing it at work. I think he does it with our group of friends. I think he does it with his other group of friends. I think he does it with his college friends. I think he does it with everybody. And I think that's who he's been for most of his life. So I would love to know from a psychological standpoint, like what happened to him where he feels like he has to prove himself to everybody at this age. Like you're in your 50s. You don't. You're a nice looking person. You're a nice person. You're fun. And you have like lots of friends. You have family that loves you. Like what else? You don't have a partner at this time, a husband, a boyfriend, or anything, but you're going on dates once in a while. So maybe he's just unfulfilled in that way. I don't know. I just feel bad in a way. And I want to help him because, again, I do like him. I've been friends with him for a very, very long time, but that's how it is. And we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. Then I want to tell you a story about this woman. I know she does not listen to my show because I've not been in touch with her in 20 years. So I worked with this woman, and at my second corporate job in New York, I worked with her at. And I'll just kind of give you the scenario here. So me and two other women, I was hired at Chase Manhattan Bank before it was JP Morgan Chase Manhattan Bank, as an executive assistant for this woman that was like a She had a super high, like probably the most senior woman in the company at the time. And she taught me so much. And she's the one that got me into doing digital and learning about the internet and design and stuff. I like owe so much to this woman. She was so fantastic. And I mean, she changed the whole projection of my life. And she knew whenever she hired me that I probably wasn't executive assistant material. I did a good job for her, but she knew that I could do more than executive assistant, than managing her calendar and expenses and being her second hand. She knew I could do more. So all that being said, I got hired at the same time these two other women got hired to be administrative assistants. I was executive assistant, of course. I sound like my friend bragging. And I was close with both of them because we would all go to lunch every day together. I was smoking cigarettes then, so we would go downstairs. They didn't smoke, but they'd come with me to smoke, and we would just kind of kiki and gossip and talk about people in the office. And this is when smoking was kind of cool, I guess, in the 90s. And I don't smoke now, just so everybody knows. I haven't smoked in a very, very long time. But the three of us were like the three musketeers at work. We had always had a great time together. Again, taking breaks together, going to lunch together, going after to drinks after work together, like doing all this stuff together. Because we worked on the same floor and we worked so closely together. And it was just like became really good friends. But our one friend like would make up these extraordinary lies. Like, I don't even know like how you could even think that people would believe you. Here's the first one. So she grew up in Queens and she claimed that she dated LL Cool J. And she broke up with him because he got too famous. And me and my friend, the other person that was in this group, would just listen to her tell these type of stories. But she brought up that she dated LL Cool J multiple times over the years. And she would call him Cool James is what she would call him. Because like if you're dating him, his name is Lady Loves Cool James. That's what LL Cool J stands for. And she would always call him, oh yeah, Cool James. I'm like, oh, so that you don't call him just James, like you call him Cool James? She's, yeah, that's what we call him in the neighborhood. But she broke up with him. She's very nice. I don't think they ever dated though. I don't think that I think LL Cool J probably, I'm going to say this nicely because I mean, she's a cute girl. She's probably not LL Cool J material though. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but, just like I'm not Tom Brady material, like I think we all know where we fall in the spectrum of like whose type we are. And she's probably just not LL Cool J's type, even back then. But she said she broke with him because she goes, he got too famous and I just couldn't deal with it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a shame. God, why would you break up with LL Cool J? Like, I wouldn't have. He's hot and he's got money and he's got a good career. Like, why wouldn't you try to stay with him and work it out instead of being an administrative assistant at Chase Manhattan Bank? But anyway, the next thing she kind of talked about was, and this is the one that is even more unbelievable than LL Cool J, if you can believe that. She came to me and my friend and said, oh, my daughter started taking piano lessons. Oh, we're like, oh, awesome. Love that. And I took piano lessons when I was a kid. I never really did anything with it. I don't remember a thing about taking piano lessons, but I think it's kind of good. Like maybe she'll like continue doing it. Maybe, who knows? Maybe she'll be a musician one day. Maybe she'll go to a performing arts college or a performing arts high school in New York or something. Who knows? Like we were all supportive and stuff. 2 weeks later, she comes and tells us and claimed that her daughter was doing a solo piano performance at Carnegie Hall. Yet her daughter just started piano lessons 2 weeks ago. She was like, is it a savant? Is that what you call it? I don't know if that's the right word. She's a genius, I would assume. But yes, after 2 weeks of taking piano lessons, her daughter was playing solo at Carnegie Hall. Do you know how many people wait their whole career to try to do something like that? And they've been in the industry for decades and they never get that opportunity. But yet her daughter, after 2 weeks, was able to get right into Carnegie Hall. And the thing is that I look back now and I'm like, why didn't we get tickets to that from her? Like, if her daughter is playing Carnegie Hall, she should have got like several tickets for free, or hell, I would have bought them to go see her daughter. So why didn't we get it's like we didn't have the internet really back then because this was like in the late 90s. So the internet was kind of there, but it was like AOL. It wasn't really the internet. So you just like wouldn't look things up the way you look today. There's definitely was no smartphones back then. I just don't know why we didn't investigate. You know what? I know her daughter's name. I still remember it. I should actually go and look up historically if her daughter ever did play Carnegie Hall, because I'm sure you can go back into all the records and all the old shows. And if her daughter is playing Carnegie Hall, she must be some famous piano player 20 years later. I mean, she has to be. But it's just like those type of stories like were so exaggerated. And that was just like a sample of the lies that we would get from her. Dating LL Cool J, her daughter playing Carnegie Hall. Then the other weird thing is that her and I would sometimes go to lunch without the other one. And one time we went to this bodega that was around the corner for lunch, and she walks out and she had some papers, like folders with her that she was carrying, and she like had them folded up like I don't know, like she just had them kind of wrapped up the paper, and she like stole like 2 muffins from the bodega. And she goes, "Look what I did." And she shows me these muffins. I'm like, "Oh my God, you stole those?" She goes, "Yeah." And she was laughing and she thought it was funny. I'm like, "We're at work. Like, we're a block from work. Like, what happened if you would have got caught? Like, how would I go back to work and tell them you're not coming back to work because you're in jail for stealing muffins? Like, I would have bought you the muffins if you needed them." Very, very bizarre. Just bizarre behavior. I would love to know what she's doing today. I think I looked for her maybe like 10 years ago on social media. Couldn't find her. I know what city she lives in, I think. I do know I could probably get in touch with her, but I'm going to pass, I think. But I would love to know if her daughter, I mean, what if I have been fooled all these years and her daughter is like doing a global concert across Asia, Europe, Latin America, North America, like doing like these solo piano concerts and stuff. Like I would be really shitty on my part for calling her a liar all these years. And what if she really did date LL Cool J? I mean, what if I looked her up online now and I like LL Cool J with her name? Like, what if it came up, there's all these pictures of her when she was younger with him? I'd feel really stupid for doing this podcast, wouldn't I? But I know it's not true. And my friend knew it wasn't true either. So I don't even need to waste my time doing it. And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. Those are just interesting friends, I think, that I have had throughout my life. I've had other friends that have basically changed who they are because they didn't feel comfortable with themselves. And, I have a friend that I've maybe mentioned in past podcasts, maybe I haven't, but he was like such a fun friend. And he was one of my best friends ever. And we would travel together. I was living in Miami. We'd go to New York together. When I was living in New York, he'd come up and visit me in Miami. When I moved back to Miami from New York, we still remained friends, and we were going out all the time. Like, we were friends in college. We went to the same college together. We worked at the same part-time job together, and I got him a job working with me at the company I was working for in college. And then something like happened where something clicked in his head, and he decided that him being gay and Cuban wasn't a mix for his new career that he was going. I'll tell you, I'm not telling you who he is, but he became a cop, and he did not want to be considered gay anymore. So he basically kind of dropped all of his friends, all of his gay friends. I remember one time we said, "Hey, do you want to go see this movie?" And he's like, "Sure." He goes, "Where do you want to go?" I'm like, "Oh, let's go to the movie theater in South Beach." He goes, "Oh, no, I can't go there." I'm like, "Oh, why?" "Oh, because if somebody sees me at work, at the movies in South Beach with gay people, then that's not good." I'm like, "I'm your friend and you are gay. Like, you love dick. Like, I don't understand like what's happening here." But no, he had no desire to have any gay friends anymore. And yeah, he was dating a guy that he thought was kind of straight, and he wasn't. He was just young, and I'm not going to talk about them any more than this, but it's a shame because he changed his whole life, his whole being, his whole authentic self just because he became a cop and because He didn't want to tell his family he was gay, which I know they had to all know he was gay. His brother was gay, and he just wanted to be something he wasn't. And I think he's still playing that game. Nobody that I am friends with is still friends with him. He dropped basically everybody that was gay. There's one person that was kind of in touch with him at one point, and they said he's still the same, but I don't think that they even talk to him anymore. So that's how it goes sometimes with friends. People change, and they're just a chapter in your life, and you just move on. So people, I really do think people come into your life at the right time for the right reasons, and then they move on, and that's it. That's okay. I think about him every year on his birthday. And other than that, if I see pictures come up on Facebook or memory, I think about him, but I feel bad because I think he's probably still alone. His family wasn't super close with him. And yeah, I think he kind of might live. Maybe he's satisfied with his work career, and that's what he's happy being a cop, and that's what fulfills him. So I only hope he's fulfilled, but who knows? It's none of my business. So that's my little rant about friends and stuff. But I wanted to tell you a couple more things on this Friday gay bit, because this one is kind of really gay. So this is a completely different subject. So switching gears a little bit. So my husband and I, he makes fun of me because of all the skincare products that I have and stuff. And I have now, every time, oh God, it's so bad. Every time I go onto TikTok and I see some type of skincare product that they're like, this is what you need, I'm buying it and trying it, and it's so bad. But I also see these videos on TikTok. So there's this red mask. It's from Australia. It's called Red Australian Clay Mask. And I watched other people put it on the women were putting it on their boyfriend's face, and these boyfriends didn't really like do facials and stuff. And they were putting it on there, and it was red. And the women would always say, like, after it was on, they're like, oh, just leave it on. And sorry if it smells since it's my period blood. And it wasn't really their period blood. It was just a clay mask. And the guys would freak out. So what I did to my husband is I said, oh, Andrew, I got this new clay mask that a company sent me to review it on my Instagram. Can you come and let me put it on you and videotape you? I got him the wrong day, I guess, because he was cranky or something. But I had him come sit in the bathroom. He's sitting there on the side of the bathtub. I'm putting this red mask on him. And he said, oh, this burns a little. And I said, oh, it's okay. I said, it's goat period blood. So maybe that's why. And he just kind of looked at me. And if that would have been me, I would have got up and I would have been scrubbing the hell out of my face to get this off my face. But he did not have the reaction. He's just sitting there letting me do it. And he's like, how long does this need to dry for? So, I mean, I have a wonderful husband, because what husband would let you put goat period on their face and like just not have a reaction? He trusted me to do that. So I wanted a good reaction. I wanted him to like freak out and stuff so I could put it on my Instagram, but my TikTok, but he didn't give me that reaction. He's just like, okay. And then the bad thing is that when he washed it off 10 minutes later, his face was beet red for like 2 hours. I thought I burned his skin. That's how bad it was. But I didn't. It like his skin calmed down, but I actually threw that, or maybe I sent it to my friend Mandy. Maybe I should have told her about that. But I did not. I wasn't putting that on my face. So I felt really bad. He said his skin felt fine. And then I went back and read it. And it's like, oh, if you use this, you don't need to, if you're a woman, you don't need to use foundation or blush for like 2 weeks after using it. I'm like, yeah, because it turns your fucking face beet red. That's why. So yeah, but I always try to do these pranks on Andrew to try to get him to do the video stuff. And he doesn't really fall for them most of the time, where he just is very nonchalant and he just goes to the flow. He's a really good husband. And I'm really lucky that he puts up with all my bullshit, with all my face things and things like that. And the last thing I want to do, I wanted to like announce that I got my ears pierced again. Whenever I was in college, I had 3 holes in each ear, and I had my belly button pierced. That's so fucking 90s to do. And when I moved to New York, when I was 24, 25, I still had them. And then I eventually took them out. I think I took them out when I started working for Chase Manhattan Bank because I had to be professional and wear a suit every day. So I took my earrings out, the holes closed. But I've been thinking about it now that I'm out working in a corporate job. I'm like, it would be kind of fun to have my ears pierced again. And so I was getting my hair cut last month, and the woman that cuts my hair, I love. Hi, Kim, if you're listening. And I said, I think I want to get my ears pierced. She goes, oh, you should. There's a place right around the corner that will do it. You can walk right in and do it. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah, it's like real nurses that do it and stuff. So I got my hair cut, walked around the corner, got my ears pierced, got these little diamonds in. If you're watching the video, there they are. But yeah, I got my ears pierced, and it's been a month now. And yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to do it. Like, I'm 53 years old and got my ears pierced. And I was asking the woman that was doing the piercing, I was asking the lady that cuts my hair, I'm like, am I too old for this? She goes, no. And everybody's like, no, you're not. Like, do whatever you want. And I'm like, you know what? That's right. I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever. If I wanted to get my belly button pierced again, I would, even though I wouldn't. But I could if I wanted, because who's going to stop me? No one. It's because it's my belly button and I can do what I want. So there you go. Anyway, that's my podcast for today. Thanks for listening to me rant. Thanks for listening to the Gay Bit. I have a fabulous, awesome, amazing guest coming to you this Sunday, so be sure to tune in. If you haven't followed this podcast, please do. Also, please leave a review or a rating on whatever podcast platform that you are listening to this on, or if you're watching the video, give a rating on YouTube, because the more ratings and reviews I get, the more people that get to hear this episode. So thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you on Sunday with a brand new guest. Thanks.